A warship from a key U.S. ally has arrived on China's doorstep. As Beijing grows bolder and the U.S. strengthens alliances, the South China Sea is entering dangerous waters literally. This latest deployment raises a critical question. Are we witnessing the early stages of a multinational military counterweight to China? This week, a guided missile destroyer from Australia transited through contested waters near China's maritime boundaries. The move was not part of a joint U.S. patrol, but a deliberate show of force and solidarity. The timing and location of the deployment are no accident. By navigating through disputed regions like the South China Sea or East China Sea, U.S. allies are sending a powerful signal freedom of navigation is non-negotiable, even in the face of Chinese military buildup. Beijing condemned the move as a provocation, warning of severe consequences. Chinese warships reportedly monitored the Allied vessel closely, while nationalist state media fanned the flames of confrontation, calling the transit a violation of Chinese sovereignty. This deployment isn't happening in a vacuum. U.S. alliances in the South China Sea are tightening, with countries like Japan, Australia, and the UK conducting joint exercises and expanding naval cooperation. Australia has deployed a warship in the contested South China Sea after China conducted an unprecedented naval circumnavigation of the United States ally in the South Pacific Ocean. Canberra said Australia has a long history of operating in the South China Sea, where the Chinese territorial claims overlap with those of several neighbors, including the Philippines. The Chinese military responded by vowing to resolutely safeguard the country's territorial sovereignty and maritime rights in the South China Sea while upholding peace and stability. What to know? UMS Sydney, one of 3 Hobart-class air warfare destroyers in service with the Royal Australian Navy, deployed on April 3rd for a 3-month mission in the Indo-Pacific region, known as the Regional Presence Deployment 25-2, the Australian Defence Department said. Following the conclusion of Exercise Bersama Shield 2025, which was held in and around Malaysia from April 7th to 22nd, the Sydney took part in training events in the South China Sea on April 24th and 25th with the Royal New Zealand Air Force and the U.S. Navy, respectively. The first training involved a New Zealand P-8A maritime patrol aircraft, while the second one was a joint sail with the U.S. littoral combat ship USS Omaha. The U.S. Navy said the sail supported a free and open Indo-Pacific and enhanced the combined forces' capabilities. On Tuesday, the Australian warship joined the U.S. and the Philippine militaries for the multilateral maritime cooperative activity in the West Philippine Sea, referring to the portion of the South China Sea that lies within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone. The armed forces of the Philippines said this multilateral engagement, which involved air and maritime assets from the 3 countries, demonstrated a strong commitment to regional security, interoperability, and cooperation in support of a rules-based international order. While the Sydney was transiting the Philippine waters, the Chinese People's Liberation Army Southern Theater Command conducted what it called routine patrols at an undisclosed location in the South China Sea, the Chinese military said the following day. Why it matters. From mid-February to early March, a Chinese naval task group consisting of a destroyer, a frigate, and a replenishment ship sailed around Australia outside its territorial waters, which extend 12 nautical miles, 13.8 miles from the country's coastline, in a clockwise direction. Meanwhile, on February 11th, An Australian maritime patrol aircraft experienced an unsafe and unprofessional interaction with Chinese fighter jets over the South China Sea. Beijing asserted that the intercept was legitimate, accusing Australia of intruding into its airspace. But with every new warship entering contested waters, the risk of miscalculation grows. A single mistake, a collision, a missile misfire, could trigger a crisis spiraling out of control between nuclear-armed powers. Taiwan remains the central flashpoint. As the PLA ramps up incursions and amphibious training, Allied warships patrolling nearby waters become both a deterrent and a target. Their presence raises the cost of any attempted Chinese invasion. Control of these seas isn't just about sovereignty. It's about controlling global trade, undersea cables, and access to trillions in commerce. The US and its allies aren't just defending abstract principles, they're defending economic lifelines. If China continues its assertive posture and allies increase their presence, the waters around China may become the most militarized in the world. Will Beijing double down, or will international pressure reshape its behavior? One warship, one signal, one step closer to either conflict or cooperation. The South China Sea is being redrawn, and everyone is watching. Should US allies continue these patrols despite Beijing's warnings? What role should international coalitions play in protecting maritime freedom? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for weekly deep dives into global defense and geopolitics.